Shane Van Gisbergen has completed his first Cup Series trip at Kansas Speedway and comes home with a top 20 in 20th place. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, Shane Van Gisbergen has completed his first Cup Series trip to Kansas Speedway and comes home with a top 20 in 20th place. Before the green flag drop in today's race, because Shane Van Gisbergen did have issues during qualifying and practice as well, he would have to go to the rear field because of unapproved adjustments and would have to start at the back of the field. And for the early portion of this race, Shane Van Gisbergen would hang in the back of the field trying to learn and gain experience on the racetrack. He was staying near the back of the field most of the day, but he gradually moved a little bit forward as the race progressed and went on. And by the time he got halfway through stage number 1, he was running around 31st to 30th of the event, which is better than being around 35th or 36th. So he was improving slightly throughout the whole entire event. And by the end of stage number 1, Shane Van Gisbergen would be around the 30th position on the racetrack. He would move a little bit forward. Kyle Larson, of course, won stage number 1. He had AJ Allmendinger, who fell out of the race early due to engine issues in the event. Shane, though, would come off the corner by the end of stage 1 and be around 30th or 31st. Stage 2 would begin for him, and he once again be near the back of the field, unfortunately, because still once again a lap down. I think some cars had taken a waiver on him, pretty sure, at this point. But he will once again through stage number 2 kind of be around that 30th to 31st place range. But I did notice that SVG was moving forward. He actually took some tires and got himself inside the top 30, and he started moving up a little bit throughout the field as drivers started having some issues and problems. And he started getting himself inside of the top 30 and would move up by the time he got to the middle of the end of stage number 2 and be around the 25th to 26th place range at that point, with fade-back a little bit around 28th or 29th at that point, but would be staying inside the top 30 in that the lap down range. He would be ahead of guys like Bubba Wallace and Corey Hyman in the early portion of the event, same with Riley Herbst as well, who was playing the tire strategies, but Shane would be around the middle of the pack at that point. He would come off the corner at the end of stage 2 with once again Kyle Larson holding off Chase Elliott to win stage number 2, and Shane would once again be back the middle to back of the pack of the field, and we'd be back there for the start of stage number 3. Now, stage number 3 is where Shane Van Gisbergen would definitely benefit because a lot of drivers started having problems. First, in the first couple laps of stage number 3, SVG was around 27th or 28th, and then we started seeing a lot of chaos happen. First, with around 75 laps to go, Brad Keselowski would have a flat tire and would hit the outside wall really hard, ending his day, and that would bring the caution out. Then during the same caution, Denny Hamlin, who had a really fast car in the event, he unfortunately was having clutch issues throughout the race. He would go to the garage. That'd be another spot for Shane Van Gisbergen. But then we get to the restart, and a lot of chaos started ensuing. The first crash would happen going into turn number 1. Daniel Suarez, SVG's teammate, Ty Dillon, and Cody Ware would wreck going into turn number 1. Then a few laps later, we'd have another crash for Kyle Busch, who would spin down the back straightaway. He would spin into the infield grass, get stuck. He would go a lap down. This caution would benefit Shane because he actually would get the free pass and get back on the lead lap. And then we go back racing once again, and then another big incident would take place going into turn number 1. You would have a couple guys end up wrecking in turn 1. Corey Heim got to the inside of Justin Haley. There was contact, and Austin Dillon, Bubba Wallace would get collected. All those guys would pretty much fall out of the race in contention, and Shane move up a couple more spots. And by this particular point, Shane Van Gisbergen was once again inside the top 25 of this race. And he was starting to move his way up to the front and forward. We go back racing for the final time with around 50 laps to go, and Shane would be restarting around 25th to 22nd in this race. And he was kind of maintained most of that throughout the event. But what I noticed is he would actually move himself inside the top 20 and was keeping up with guys in front of him. He had decent lap times, especially near the end of the race, and was running down his teammate Ross Chastain to be the highest finishing Trackhouse car in the event, as Ross was struggling throughout this race. As Kyle Larson would continue to dominate the event, Shane would continue to try to improve and get a lot better. It seemed like his car in the long run was actually pretty good. He would actually, I believe, finish on the lead lap in this race. He wouldn't get past, and he would come with Kyle Larson holding off a hard charger and Christopher Bell. We'd see Kyle Larson come off and pick up the win, and Shane Van Gisbergen would come off the corner after Carson Osbar had tire issues here. The race got back by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as well. He would come off the corner and cross the finish line in a very solid and good 20th place. One of overall the best runs I think we have seen from Shane Van Gisbergen so far in 2025. I think we've all known so far that SVG was generally going to struggle on the ovals this year. We know his bread and butter is generally the road courses, but we saw in the Xfinity Series last year he did improve on the road courses, and on the ovals, I should say. And I think his finishes recently have actually been showing a lot of improvement. You think about since Darlington, he got a 20th place finish there, ran solid at that track. Then he had a pretty bad finish at Bristol Motor Speedway, but Talladega, he got caught up in an incident, finished 29th. Then Texas, he came home with a 22nd place finish. Solid day considering all the chaos, and today he finishes in 20th. That is his 4th top 30 finish in the last 5 races, which isn't really much to write about, but for Shane, that is showing a little bit of improvement because it shows he's trying to show a little bit of improvement. And I think he still has a lot of room to grow and a lot of development that he needs to do, but runs like this are definitely going to start putting him in the right direction. Now, he did get benefited from some cautions and some people falling out of the race. There's no denying that. There's no question about it, but I think today was one of the better runs that I think Shane has had so far this year. And he's got a lot of good tracks coming up. I don't think he's going to be a major factor during the All-Star race in North Wilkes if he even makes the event. He's got the Coke 600 coming up, which I do think that's going to be an interesting race for him to see if he can actually develop and run really well. So I think he ran a little bit mediocre in the race last year. But then he got tracks coming up like Mexico. He's going to be the favorite to win there, in my opinion. Kyle Busch is going to be faster too because of how fast he was at COTA, but he's going to be fast at that track. He's going to be really good at Sonoma. He's going to be the favorite at Chicago. I think there's some really good tracks coming up for Shane, and also he's going to be doing double duty during Mexico because he's going to be running the Xfinity Series race as well. I do think Shane will become more of a factor for solider finishes as he gets more experience and does get better. That's the most important thing because as a rookie, he's had a lot of higher expectations, and generally this year, we all know he's not been the best driver out there. He's one of the lowest drivers in the standings currently at the moment, but I also think a lot of it has to do with the trackhouse speed. I don't think the trackhouse racing cars are that great right now. Dale Swartz had some good runs, but they generally have lacked the speed at times. Ross Chastain never had the speed today, which is surprising considering he's a defending winner at this racetrack, was never a major factor, and Shane almost beat Ross to be the highest finishing trackhouse driver today. Just not the best run overall for the trackhouse group as a whole. So I think that organization still has a lot of work to do. You think about the long-term future. There's a lot of talk and conversation behind the scenes that trackhouse could be a potential landing spot for Dodge when they come into the sport in the next couple years. But you also think about this. We need to continue seeing improvement from Shane because he's been also his qualifying. That's another big thing. He has not been qualifying generally really well. I think he's got the worst average in qualifying so far this year, even worse than Cody Ware, I think, at this point. So we have got to see improvement on the qualifying side of things because if he can improve on qualifying and finishes like today will definitely help that for sure. But the qualifying was one thing that really hurt him in the Xfinity Series last year, and I think that's the big thing that he's going to have to show a lot of improvement on. That being said, though, I think today was one of his better runs he's had this year. It's a step in the right direction. I hope he can continue to show improvement because I want to see him be a factor in the future of these ovals. I think the goal by the end of the year is start having a lot more consistent top 20s, and I think he's starting to show a little bit more of that. His finishes are slightly getting a little bit better. Yes, he got helped by attrition, but today was one of his better runs to get a top 20. He should have to be a little happy about that. They still got work to do over at Trackhouse to get the speed because I think the Trackhouse cars are down on speed currently at the moment, but nonetheless, I think today was one of the better runs that Shane Van Gisbergen has had so far this year. Congrats to a top 20 run for him. So, that is going to be it for today's video on SVG finishing in the top 20. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. List description below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's video. How do you think SVG performed today at Kansas? Do you think it was one of his better runs of the season or not? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Earlier tonight, I did a review on the Cup Series race in Kansas, talking about Kyle Larson picking up the win. Go check that video out. And then, of course, tomorrow I'm going to have a NASCAR news video discussions over the course of the last couple days. We got some GMS racing rumors to talk about. We've got to talk about the lawsuit between 25 and front row Michael Jordan being involved in that. We've got people talking about like Haley Deegan, SVG again, Carl Lutz, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, Prime Case out of Logan Paul, all the good stuff. We've got Honda stuff to talk about. IndyCar a little bit as well. The Indy 500 coming up shortly. We've got Indy 500 race predictions coming out about a week from now. We've got the All-Star race picks dropping on Thursday. We've also, of course, got the Truck Series race picks dropping Wednesday. We've got the All-Star race entries. I think we're going to do something around the entry list, or might do some other special content. I'm not entirely sure at this point. We do have some fun content dropping really soon on the channel that I cannot wait for you guys to check out as we get farther into the year and farther into the season. Same with stuff around Connors Village and Junior Motorsports as well. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode. I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Also expect some content around Eric Almirola and Chandler Smith as well very soon. Take care, everybody.